guys, welcome to Wellington Witch. I'm Lorian and I thank you all for joining me today. So I did run a poll on my community tab asking which you would prefer for the new moon reading. Pick a card or sign specific. Now we were at a deadlock for about a few days, so obviously there's high demand for both. So I thought I'd just do one pick a card and one sign specific reading covering all 12 zodiac signs nearer the time. There won't be a live reading this time. Obviously the new moon in Capricorn falls on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and so I'm just going to be spending time with family, having a relax, getting my feet up, that kind of thing. So I didn't want to have to, drag you out of your days as well to watch me do a live reading. So this is what we have here. We have a pick a card. We're also going to have the zodiac specific one later on. But these are both going up before the new moon anyway. It's just to kind of see what information's coming through around that time. I'm doing this reading on the solstice. So this has extra empowerment, and it's also going to be a kind of channeled and clarifying reading just to see the last moon of the year, how we're ending this time. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to go group 1, group 2, group 3. I will also post a 60 second, that'd be far too long, meditation, just so you can get accustomed to these and see which one draws your eye. So group 1 has party, this little party badge here. It usually lights up, but unfortunately the batteries have died. I got that in the 90s, so no wonder. We also have this little bee bracelet, not bracelet, badge. So but all of these are badges. And then we have the Worlds Collide author badge that I got about 3 years ago now. So if you do want to just take your time, if you've already got it in mind, fair enough, go onto the link below and it'll take you directly to each individual deck. And I will be drawing clarifiers as we go through, but in the meantime, thank you ever so much again for joining me. We're going to start with group 1. Blessings and greetings, group 1. So you would have chosen this party badge. Like I say, this used to light up, but I got it in the 90s, so it's kind of worn out now. But let's see what this new moon in Capricorn is saying for you. There's wrapping paper everywhere. Okay, so let's see what your tarot cards have to say. Ooh, now as you may know, I don't do reversals, especially not with these cards. But you have Princess of Swords and the 5 of Cups. You also have your archetype, the Scribe. Preserving knowledge and information is your light attribute. Shadow attribute is altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. So I don't feel that you're going to be in the shadow attribute for this one. Okay, let me just have a look and see with some clarifier cards. I'm using the Taramuka for clarifier cards. Alright, you wanted to come through. Another, oh no, you've already got one for. Okay, 4 of Wands. Okay, so this is quite interesting. As far as I can see, you have a lot of layers. Around this new moon, they're saying there's a lot of layers, a lot to think about. There's a lot that you're probably putting together from the past 12 months. I also feel like any adversity, with the Five of Cups, you may have felt like you have had more of a loss this year rather than a win. But the main thing with the Five of Cups is that 3 are still standing. You have more standing and more going for you than you have lost over the last 12 months. And so this new moon in Capricorn is kind of asking you to look at what you still have standing. What have you still got? It may be minimized. It may have reduced. People minimize their life. They downsize. Maybe that's happened for you. But ultimately, I do see you maybe journaling, maybe writing down your resolutions, doing some blueprint of destiny writing, doing some affirmations and feelings like that. It feels like that's coming through. But the Princess of Swords is definitely a cause. It's coming in for you to say a cause for it. There's a cause for you to keep going. There's a reason for you to continue down this same path. The messages coming through are of curious energy. They're of clarity and defying other things that maybe other people have planned for you. It feels a lot like next year may be a year of defiance. Not quite sure. It depends on what your plans are, but I do get this feeling of, you know what, despite the issues, despite the things that I may have lost, I'm not going to let this drag me down. I'm not going to let this overwhelm me. Christmas can be an incredibly lonely time. The holiday seasons can be an incredibly lonely time. It's the shortest day in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the longest day in other worlds, in other parts of the world. And I do feel like, in the Northern Hemisphere, we do get very reflective. We get inward because the darkness drags us inward, which is a good thing sometimes. But in the lighter hemisphere, you still might be feeling alone because the light exposes the areas of your life in which you feel are too empty. So I feel like this is kind of half and half going on here for us all. I would also say, trust your intuition, trust that niggling in the back of your mind, trust that dedication that's going on there. The Four is saying that you do have stability, you have harmony coming through. The Capricorn is a very practical sign, and New Moon in Capricorn is basically saying to make sure you lock down those foundations. But the Scribe here, I do feel writing down your emotions, writing down your intentions for 2020, bullet journaling, which I'm going to have a go at in 2020, doing something that you feel inside is going to be beneficial to you. I feel that's going to be incredibly positive and incredibly nuanced for you as well, because everybody is going to be different. Everybody feels different when they write something down. So I feel like if you channel a message as you're writing something down, I always say that there's magic in writing. So not just because I'm a writer, but because as you're writing, the physical act of writing and getting lost in the process, your subconscious wakes up and delivers information that you probably have only processed when you're asleep. And so as you're writing things down and as you're going, oh wow, yeah, I remember that happening, and oh yeah, I remember this happened. So you might actually see that you've won more this year than you've lost. And that's what the Five of Cups is saying. The reflection here is that you have won more this year than you've lost. It doesn't have to be fireworks and roses and all that kind of stuff. It's just to say you've survived. You have survived this year, and you are actually going on to better foundations and with a curious energy that I can deliver and I can achieve. And I think that's definitely an affirmation for you to take forward. I can deliver, I can achieve. So that could be something that you need to work with over the course of the next month into the new year. But I wish you all the very best of luck. Happy New Year to those of you who are wondering about it, and very, very Merry Christmas to those who celebrate as well. In the meantime, I'll leave all the links to readings and 2020 forecasts down below that you can purchase for yourself or other people, and I'll wish you the very best of luck. Hope to speak to you soon. I'm now going to go into group 2. Hello, lovely group 2s. So you would have chosen the B. Your work B. I love that. I can't actually remember where I got that, but I love it so much. So your tarot cards are, I don't do reversals as you may know, the Magician and the Seven of Cups. Another Cups. Okay. So immediately I'm thinking this is something to do with your imagination running away with you and having a lot of ideas. But let's see what archetype you are. Midas or the Miser. That could actually be something to do with that too. So the light attributes are entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold and delight in sharing life's riches. The shadow attributes are holding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Okay, that's interesting. I'm just going to use the Tarot Muka as a clarifier. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so Group 1 also had the Four of Wands. So there's something coming up with a lot of us foundations, as I was saying before. If you had Group 1 and Group 2, then this is doubly enforced for you. But the Four of Wands is very much about foundations. And as is Capricorn, they want you to be solid. They want you to be secure. So that's definitely a theme that's coming in for you here. The Magician and the Seven of Cups, though, that's quite a combination, because the Magician is a concentration of the power. The Magician, you've only just started on a journey, so maybe there's something that's saying, look, you've only just begun. Even though this is the end of the year, you really are only just beginning on your path. You are still learning how to utilize your emotions, the physical things, your mental ability, and also the creative energy that you have. So you're still learning how to utilize everything that is at your disposal. You're very much young in that way. It feels like you are still learning, that nobody can ever know everything. So it's like you're still learning, you're still understanding things, and you are still making sure that you understand yourself as you're doing it. And as you're growing, you keep checking in with yourself like, oh, I don't do that anymore, or oh, I do this anymore. The counter intuitive could be that you have too much fantasy going on, too much imagination. I mean, it can work in your favor if you are creative, or if you're wanting to develop things. But similarly, your imagination could run away with you, or you could run away with your imagination. You could be looking into fantasy worlds rather than grounding yourself. You could be using your creativity to dabble in everything rather than focusing on something. And I think that this is where the foundations come in, is if you have a ton of ideas, write them down, see which one you're drawn to. And you know, this isn't just for creatives either, this is for people who may have ideas as to how to get themselves out of a situation. So it could be that you need to write down your resolutions, write down your plans for the year, see which take priority, and then work with that energy, because you have the ability to turn it into gold. Don't be afraid of what you'll lose if you don't explore every single option. Don't be afraid of what you could sacrifice if you spread yourself, if you don't spread yourself everywhere. It's if you spread yourself too thin that you're going to have the trouble. So what you need to do is make sure you take on a light attribute here. Have your creative ability to turn anything to gold. You know, delight in the fact that you have the potential here to manifest everything that you ever wanted. So make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin by thinking, oh, I can do this, oh, I can do that, oh, I can go over here. So the Capricorn Moon is very much saying, you know, make a promise to yourself going into the new year that you're not actually going to do that. You know, you're not going to let yourself get carried away by every little thing and idea that comes to you. I wrote a book once that had about 10,000 ideas in it. And it was just very convoluted, it was very strange, we didn't really get the point. So what you need to do is make sure when you're writing the novel of your life is that you're actually focusing on what's important in that moment. Plan for the future, sure. But if it's not happening now, you don't really have to focus on it too much. Just look where things need your most attention, and then make sure that you can focus on that. I think that's basically what the Capricorn, we have a lot of stuff going into Capricorn, so this is probably doubly so for a lot of you. But that's basically what I'm feeling. You have power, use it wisely. That's what I'm feeling. You have power, use it wisely. And that may even be a theme for the rest of the year, like into 2020. So hopefully there's going to be some good changes for you. But comment below, let me know how this goes for you. If this resonates, it may be a little bit of a worker bee going on, but I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a privilege to read for you this year. If you would like a 2020 reading for yourself or a friend, I do them as gifts. All the links are down below to get a reading for you or otherwise. Oh, this sounds like it's going to be a really good year ahead for you guys, but I hope this helps you, and I'll speak to you guys very soon. I'm going to go on to group 3. My darling group 3s, welcome. You would have chosen the Worlds Collide badge, which may be a symbol, and you had 3 cards come out, so I don't know whether I'll need a clarifier for you. You have the Princess of Cups, wow, the Prince of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. That's incredible. Okay, so your energy and your emotion are very much going to be highlighted around this new moon. And then we have the Martyr as your archetype. So in the light, it's learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And in the shadow attribute, it's addiction to self-pity. I can understand why that's come out, because already I'm getting very drawn to these cups, these waters. So you could be a water sign or have some elements of water very heavily in your life or in your chart. And I feel with the Princess of Cups in particular, this is very much about delivering messages of emotion. This is a very family orientated, spiritually focused and charged time of year. So I feel maybe you're focused on spreading goodwill, spreading cheer, spreading happy emotions, giving. It's a season of giving, it's a season of inclusion. I feel that maybe you're leaving yourself out in this time, and I do believe that this is asking you to consider yourself, learning the transcendent nature of service to yourself. You need to treat yourself. And I'm not meaning by that a really expensive diamond ring for yourself. It's just, if you need a break, take the break. If you need to withdraw from the very busy family life, withdraw. Do what you can to give yourself that little bit of calm, because I do feel a lot of emotions churning around this time. The Prince of Cups is normally the Knight. So the Knight of Cups is about motion, it's about charm, it's about having that, way with words. So you could be spilling emotion or having this spill to yourself around this time. You could maybe not know what to do with all this emotion. But this is, at its core, getting in touch with yourself creatively, getting in touch with yourself intuitively, and understanding that your expression, your way with words, the way you interact with people is going to mean a lot around this time. It's going to mean very much a case of sensitivity in some people, so they may think, oh, why have you said that at this point? But the main thing is to charge yourself with your own care. Nobody else is responsible for your care, really, and nobody else is responsible for your happiness apart from you. So this is the kind of saying, Capricorn is saying for you to get real with what makes you happy and how you want to go about it, because the Ace of Wands is incredible energy. It's about compassion, inspiration, creation, potential. You could have a brilliant idea around this time in the quiet. If you actually get a minute to yourself, you could have an amazing idea as to how to go ahead with something that you've had on your mind for quite some time. It could be that you suddenly have a eureka moment, because this is the flow of dolphin energy. Has been childlike, play, laugh. Don't take things too seriously around this time. Treat yourself nicely. Don't watch a terrible tragedy romance. Watch a funny film, watch an escapism film, watch something that's amazing. Treat your mind and your emotions how you would a wound almost. If somebody had hurt their hand, you'd, be tender with it, you'd care for it. Treat yourself in the same way. I'm not saying that you're a wound, but there's maybe some things that you're still recovering from this year. So you deserve a time of happiness. And I think that is to recharge for 2020. You're not actually going to go, oh, me, I'm sacrificing everything just for the sake of everybody else. That is not the way you need to go about it this time. Going into the new year, it feels like you're having a lot of creation, a lot of ideas, inspiration as to how to do stuff and how to handle stuff. But you can do that when you're happy and when you raise your vibration and listen to your intuition. And I honestly think that's going to be the key to your moving forwards. I hope this helped you, my dear group 3s. Do let me know in the comments below if this helped you. I am so privileged to be able to read for you, and thank you so much for being here. If you'd like a 2020 personal reading or any reading for you or a loved one, I do them as gifts. Do let me know in the comments below as well, or you've got all the links down there too. But in the meantime, I wish you a blessed end to the year, and I'll speak to you guys very soon.